Okay, I've worked at Battersea now for 23 years, so I've come across a lot of different breeds. A favourite breed of mine at the moment is definitely the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, because I believe that they get quite a bad reputation and they're an extremely intelligent dog. I've owned in total over 27 dogs. I do own a Staffordshire Bull Terrier and a Staffordshire Bull Terrier cross. My dogs do different things, like they compete in agility, they do obedience, just like any other dog can do. Squirt, who you'll be meeting today, she goes into school, she does education, she goes into prisons, she does a lot of stuff with the youth offending teams. So I think she's a real ambassador for the breed. Sadly, there are a lot of people out there that do get dogs on the whole for the wrong reason, and that could be for a security purpose or for intimidation. So they do tend to go for dogs that might be a little bit more tough looking, and I think this is where perhaps the breed has sort of like fallen into that type of line. I always say to people though, is it the actual dog that they're concerned about, or is it the person at the end of the lead that they're concerned about? Because if you were to see the same dog walking down the road with perhaps a little old lady, you probably wouldn't be that concerned. But if you do see the dog going down the road with maybe a group of young lads, then maybe you're a little bit more suspicious. So are we racially discriminating the dog, or is it the people? So I think sometimes we have to look at both things, but that's my opinion. If you look at the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, it was once known as the nanny dog of the world. So it was a dog that was more trusted with young children. And on the whole, the breed are very, very people orientated. So if they have a problem, like most terriers, it can be that they're a little bit more gamely, a little bit more up for it. So if they tend to have problems, it might be that they're a little bit more intolerant with other dogs. But on the whole, they tend to be extremely good with people. That's not saying that every Staffordshire Bull Terrier in the world is good with people, because a lot of the time it's how they're raised and socialised. You know, exactly the same as kids. If you're socialised perhaps wrongly or badly, or you get caught up in the wrong group, things can go wrong. And equally, it can go wrong for dogs. And that's not just the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, that can be any dog. We do see two different sides. You know, we equally have seen dogs that have come in that have been quite badly neglected and perhaps involved in things like dog fighting, or being used for bait. So we've seen dogs that have come in that have been in a really, really bad condition as a result of fighting. And I find that quite sad, that someone can actually use a dog for what they consider to be their entertainment, because there's a lot of suffering and there's a lot of cruelty that does go on. And it's rescue organisations that have to actually pick up the pieces. We then have to work and try and rehabilitate these dogs to put back out there in the world. So for me, it's about people's actions a lot of the time. And, if you do have the opportunity to walk around a rescue, then just look at some of those faces, because they're not here for their own choice, sadly. Some of them may have done a couple of things wrong, some of them haven't had socialising, some of them people haven't trained, but many of the dogs that come into rescue make fantastic pets, and they're really good, and they just need that second opportunity and chance. Squirt, she's part of a Staffordshire Bull Terrier display team, so if anyone's ever interested, if you Google like the East Anglia Staffordshire Bull Terrier display team, they have a lot of different Staffords that go out. Many of them are from Battersea Dogs Home and different rescues. They do agility, they do obedience, they do tricks, they do TV work, amongst other things. And the group are very much about showing people that you can do good stuff with the breed, because they are very intelligent. And it's like many dogs, if the more you do with them, the more you work with them, the more they're up for it, and you get the best out of your dog. So to me, it's train, 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 and be responsible. Well, believe it or not, we do get a lot of Staffordshire Bull Terriers, and you may have heard Battersea have a big campaign which is Staffies are softer than you think, because they are. And we do get a lot of Staffordshire Bull Terriers that come through our door. As I said, many of them are for no bad reason whatsoever. They make great pets. The good thing is they are becoming quite popular, so we do rehome lots and lots of the breed, and I think more and more people are getting behind the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and it's about time. All of a sudden people are starting to support it. You've just got to look at how many Staffordshire Bull Terrier groups there are on places like Facebook and things like that. They do get quite a lot of support. They're still going to have people that are apprehensive, but again, I would sort of like say, are they apprehensive about the dog? Don't get me wrong, some people are going to have a bad experience. It's like any breed. There'll be breeds out there, and that could be any breed whatsoever, that could have perhaps a bitten or they've had a bad association with that animal. But on the whole, I think a lot of people are now starting to back the breed, finally. So it'll be another breed next, perhaps, that'll get the stick. You'll probably find that there's quite a lot of good stories out there on Staffordshire Bull Terriers, but how many people actually remember them? But if it's a bad story, people will always remember it. And, you know, I do sometimes look at a lot of media stories that are gone out, especially if they're describing the breed as being aggressive, and you tend to see the same picture. It's always the same picture that's always used, with, you know, the teeth showing and saliva coming out of the mouth. So that probably doesn't help matters. But you've also got to remember, if it was a good story, you tend to not remember about it. So if I said to you, how many things do you remember in the paper this week? You probably can name all the bad things, but you'll very rarely remember anything good, which is a shame, but that's life.
I think a way to promote what a good breed they are and to try and change the image is to use dogs like these, which are really good examples of the breed. These are actually ambassadors for the breed, and they've won a lot of people over by showing them how gentle they are, how trainable they are. So when we go into places where people maybe don't like the breed, it's quite easy to actually win them over. I just think we have to keep on moving it forward, and I think we are reversing it. I think the trend is changing, but we need to keep on pushing, and it's by showing by example all the time of this is what this breed is all about, this is what they can do, and what a lovely, fantastic breed they are.